around maybe the say 500 type of levels, because in the shorter term I think the stock is looking like it could correct a bit with the rest of the market.
All right. This next query that we have is coming in from Subramaniam. He's writing to us from Chennai, and he's saying he's bought about 200 shares of Tanla Platforms at a price of 1,560 rupees per share. What's the outlook going forward, and what should he do with the holding? Sell or hold on to it? Shahina, what's your take on Tanla Platforms?
Well, this is difficult. See, with the rest of the market, all the stocks are correcting. So for the shorter term, there is even this chart is showing a bearish signal. But I like the business for the longer term. So if I'm a long-term investor, I would continue holding it. I would put a stop loss of closer to maybe 970 and hold it for targets of close to 1,300.
Shaina, I'm going to come to you again on this one. Now we have a query coming in from Omkar, and this one is for Trident shares. Now they bought Trident shares at an average price of 40 rupees per share. What is your long-term view on Trident?
Well, I think Trident, with the rest of the sector, is going through a difficult phase in textiles. At the same time, I think if you're really a long-term investor, then one can, and if you're already invested, then you can continue holding. But you need to, keep a stop loss of close to about 30 rupees. But if I was a shorter to medium-term investor, I would exit.
All right. This one is coming in from Rajendra. He's writing to us from Bengaluru, and he wants to know whether it's a good time to buy Glenmark Pharma. And he's saying that he's a long-term investor. So what's your take on this one, Shahina?
Well, Glenmark has been one of the underperformers in the overall pharma sector. And I believe that while definitely there are things going on in research in the company, I would switch from Glenmark to something like maybe a Cipla.
And, we have a query coming in from Vishal. Now, he wants a mid to long-term view coming in on Prince Pipe. And Ashish, this is for you. Is it a good time to add, or should they wait for further correction coming in on Prince Pipes?
See, if you look at the overall chart, Prince Pipe has been correcting relentlessly since 720 was formed. And as of now, there is absolutely no slowdown in the momentum. You do not see any kind of positive divergence, which means the momentum is still going on the downside. So do not try to catch a falling knife here. Maybe wait for some time. The stock can correct towards the level of 525, 30, where you can possibly look forward for averaging it out. But for now, do not average out, because we can see further declines from here on.
Okay, this one I have from Vishal. He's writing to us from Dubai, and Vishal wants a long-term view on Prince Pipes. He wants to know whether it's a good time to add, or should he wait for further correction. What's your take on this one, Ashish?
I think we already discussed about the Prince Pipe right now. So do not add it at these levels as we discussed. 520 is where possibly he can look out for adding on Prince Pipes.
Okay. We have the next query coming in from Girish, and this is on Vedanta. Ashish, is this the right time to buy Vedanta?
See, if you look at the overall metal sector, there has been a very strong correction. And look at Vedanta's last 3 days of movement. It moved from nearly around 290 levels to 236 in just 3 days of time. Now, I would not be the person who would try to come against the overall such a strong downtrend. So do not buy Vedanta now. It's better to be out from the metal space. You can clearly see Hindalco correcting sharply, Tata still down, Vedanta correcting relentlessly. So that's a global sell-off we are seeing in the metal stocks. It's better to wait out for now.
Okay, this one is coming from Sunil G. He's writing to us from Muscat, and he wants to know about SBI Life and HDFC Life. And this one is for you, Shahina. He's saying that both of these counters have high PE ratio even at present rates. So is it advisable to buy them for the longer term, on the main reason being that insurance in the country is under penetrated? Do you think that it makes sense to look at counters like HDFC Life and SBI Life right now, Shahina?
I believe there's a lot of potential for the overall sector for the medium to longer term. So yes, one can be invested in this sector. I would prefer SBI Life simply on the valuation basis as of now. HDFC Life is also good, but it is more expensive. If you want to get into SBI Life, I think the good price would be maybe close to the 980 levels, or 900, or maybe 1000 levels also, and then you can hold it with a target of about 1200 for the medium term.
Okay, that's the view coming in on HDFC Life. But Ashish, coming to you, the next query we have coming in is on REC Limited. Now, Nikhil Bhatt is holding 810 shares of this at around 130 rupees per share. Currently sitting on a loss of around 14%. Should they hold, exit or average? What should they be doing with REC?
See, if you look at REC overall chart, the trend is negative, but there is a positive thing here is some loss of momentum on the downside, which means there is a possibility the stock can reverse back on the upside after some consolidation. So hold on to the stock as of now. Do not average it for now, but hold on with the stop loss of 105. I think as long as that is intact, we can start seeing it going up back towards that 125 or 130 odd levels. And that can be the place where he can possibly look forward to book out.
Okay, this one is from Andrew. He's writing to us from Chennai, and his query is on GTL Infra, Shahina. He's saying that he's bought 40,000 shares of GTL Infra, or with the view that there is a 5G auction that's around the corner. What's your view on this counter? Does it make sense? Do you think GTL Infra is the counter that you should play this 5G auction, or look at other players that will be a beneficiary?
Well, it's a penny stock, and for the shorter term, it is looking pretty bearish. So I would not play this whole thing through 5G through GTL Infra. I would prefer playing it through maybe you can play through Reliance, you can play it through a Bharti, but why through this penny stock?
Okay. Ashish, the next query we have is coming in on SBI. Now, Dheeraj is holding SBI at 350 rupees per share, holding 500 shares of this. Should they add more, or should they be waiting for a correction in this one?
See, first of all, the buy price is pretty decent. 350 that's the buy price. From there, we can clearly see the stock has managed to move up, and it has been just consolidating in a range. So I think SBI is much preferred over other stocks that we have discussed. He can average it out at these levels, but should be okay to hold on for at least a year and more, because we don't expect much things to happen over short term. Over next 3 to 6 months, the stock can continue to consolidate, but after that there has to be a positive traction which we start seeing. So hold on to the stock for a year or more and possibly average it out here.
Okay, Shaina, coming to you. The next query we have coming in is from Parth Shah, who is from Vadodara, and this is a long-term view right now they want, and that is on Asian Paints. You know, they have been accumulating this as a compounder. Asian Paints, our Pidilite Industries, what would you be looking at with a long-term view?
I would prefer Pidilite over Asian Paints currently. One is, of course, because of valuation. Asian Paints has traditionally been very expensive, continues to remain expensive, but the sector is seeing a very big competitor coming in terms of the Birla Group, and I think their Asian Paints valuation stretch from here will be limited. So I would prefer Pidilite. I think their valuation is slightly more attractive, and even on the charts and business-wise, I think the potential is better.
Okay, this one is from Denny. He's writing to us from UK. He's saying that he has Canara Bank, about 1,000 shares purchased at 192 rupees per share. Wants to know the short-term target for this one and also short-term movements for this particular counter. How does Canara Bank look on the charts, Ashish, for the short term?
See, the short-term trend for Canara Bank has been negative. We discussed about it. It again continue to move down sharply and towards that 165 support. So I think if you want to play a short-term, then possibly bet on the downside by way of shorting the stock for 165 as the target, as long as 190 remains intact on the upside.
Okay, that's the view coming in on Canara Bank. But next one we have is NMDC is the next stock, which is the query about, and we have Shyam, who has 600 shares of NMDC at 97 rupees per share. Shaina, with a 2-year time frame, what should they be doing with the stock? Continue to hold the stock? Average, what would you be suggesting?
I think it's better to exit from the stock. I see more downside levels coming in. Maybe you can look at it a couple of months down the line when the overall sector stabilizes. I see, the stock going down to closer to 90 levels. So one should exit from at current prices.
All right, this next one that I have is from Chitra. She's writing to us from Bangalore, right? She's saying that right now she can invest about 4 lakhs in the market, but wants to know some good IT or FMCG counters that she can look to invest in for the next 5 years. What's your take on this one, Shahina?
Well, I think FMCG, there are a number of stocks you can look at if you have a 5-year horizon. There are stocks like Dabur, which is actually I think doing pretty well as of now. Looks pretty good even for a 3 to 5 year term. ITC, of course, which has come back on the charts after a long time. I think shorter term, most of the stocks are going to see a very like I mean the movement you cannot predict because of the overall sentiment in the market and FI selling. But if you're holding it for the longer term, I think at current levels, these two stocks look good.
The next stock which is in focus is Tata Steel, and Saurav wants to know the medium-term view on Tata Steel. Ashish, what's your view coming in here? Can they buy, sell, hold? What is the strategy?
A very, very sharp cut across in Tata Steel as well. Over medium term, I'm not optimistic about this stock because there is just no consolidation. The volumes are picking up with every downtick. Now that indicates bearishness. So avoid buying Tata Steel over even for the medium term because the stock will consolidate even if it has to go up before that. So next 3 to 6 months are not looking very attractive for the metal sector as a whole. And Tata Steel can possibly correct towards the level of 750 on the downside.
About Tata Steel, actually, I also had a query on Tata Steel, and this one's from Abhishek Sen. So he wanted to know whether it's the right time to buy HUL and Tata Steel. What's your take on this one, Ashish?
See, HUL is something which we can always expect to outperform given the current situation of inflation, because we have observed that the defensive starts outperforming when the broader market corrects, and that is what we can clearly see even today. We can see the Nestle moving up, HUL is sustaining and moving up as being the top gainer. So I think it's better to be with the defensive stocks like HUL, and it looking good on the chart. Possibly towards 2400 is the level we can expect HUL to move, and the support is at 2050.
With the defensive stocks is what Ashish is saying. But coming to you, Shaina, the next query is on Zomato. Now, how is this one looking at current price? Is the query coming in from, we have a Kaushik. So we have this query from Kaushik. What is the view on Zomato?
Well, I think, after the huge correction that we have seen post-listing, in my view, I think the negatives is more or less factored into the price. Valuation remains expensive, but it is one of the few stocks I think that will survive this massive downturn and do much better going forward. So if you're invested, continue holding. I think if you want to buy, I would prefer buying it at maybe 5 rupees lower, 60 rupees. That would be a good bet, and one can look at targets of somewhere close to about 75 in the shorter term.
So Rajeshwari writing to us from Chennai, she's saying that she's purchased Bharat Dynamics today, about 25 shares at a price of 814 rupees per share. But as we can see, the stock is actually falling. Wants to know whether she should exit the counter or average. It's an intraday view, I believe. Ashish, what's your take on Bharat Dynamics?
See, if I would like to advise that if you are trading intraday or for short term, it's always best to trade with a stop loss, because you don't know how fast you can lose money if you are not placing a stop loss. So on Bharat Dynamics, do not average out on your losing positions. Never do that for trading. On the downside, this you can maintain a stop loss of at 740. If the stock breaks below 740, it's best to book loss and get out of here. I'm not too optimistic right now unless the overall index starts recovering sharply on the upside. Bharat Dynamics might continue to consolidate for the rest of the day. So 740 is the stop loss that you should maintain.
Okay. Shaina, the next query is for you. Astral Poly, how is this stock looking like for the long term? This query is from Bhupen Pada.
I think Astral Poly, I'm not able to actually figure it out as of now, so just let me skip this question.
All right, no problem, Shaina. We will get back to you on that one in a bit. But for now, we'll slip into a break on this edition of Buy Now, Sell Now. But viewers, don't go anywhere. We will be back with your queries after this break, and we'll have our experts answer all your queries. So don't go anywhere.
World. I'm a fan.
This is a very insightful question that you're asking, Nikunj, and almost seems like you were listening in on the deliberation the committee was doing. And you're absolutely right.
Out of this cup of coffee,
is costing you 25 rupees right now. After 5 years, it may cost you 100 rupees. Predicting the market or predicting the short-term move in the market, well, that's always very easy. Predicting it right and making money, it's not impossible. It could be a challenge.
See, Nikunj, you're a very seasoned market observer, and therefore you may hit the nail on the head.
I think you have always kept the focus on the retail investor, and I think it's again a very apt, very good question.
Nikunj, first of all, thank you so much. You are one person I've always enjoyed interacting throughout last 15-20 years.
You know, the problem on coming on your channel is that you already know everything. I just heard your introduction. And what can anybody add to that?
Stock markets is a numbers game, and it sometimes does come across as one-dimensional. But what people don't see is that these numbers, when strung together, tell a story. There's no really black or white. It very much seems to be a work in progress of triumphs and mistakes, greed and fear. And I bring you that story behind the numbers in action.
The personal finance show that helps you achieve all your financial dreams.
This show gets you everything that you need to know about your money, how to earn more, invest smartly, and spend while getting the best bang for your buck.
From the perfect home to early retirement and everything in between.
Real estate, everyone knows, is an asset that Indians absolutely love, maybe even more than gold.
Join us every weekday at 5 p.m. on the ET Money Show. Investment made easy, only on ET Now.
Welcome back, and you're watching Buy Now, Sell Now on ET Now. Let's keep it with the queries, and Ashish, the next one is for you. It's coming for Sadbhav Engineering. What is the prediction coming in on this one? What are the charts looking like? And this query is from Nishanto Das.
See, overall trend for Sadbhav Engineering had been very sharply down. The stock has corrected, I think, nearly 80-90% from the highs. So why to stay with something like this that has been shown a steep correction from 90 levels and now quoting at around 15, and there is absolutely no green candle for past entire 1 month or more. It's best to be not trying to catch a low here. Let's wait out, and if you are already in this position, then it's best to be out from here, because you do not expect any kind of miracles to happen over short term.
Is coming from Saroj Kumar Karmakar from West Bengal and wants to know about Honeywell Automation. How are the charts looking on this particular account, and does it merit an investment right now? Do you think that it makes sense to invest in Honeywell Automation right now? Ashish, how are the charts looking?
See, Honeywell Automation has been a very strong outperformer. It has been in a bull run for quite some time. But we saw a very deep cut. I think after the results were announced from 38,000, the stock moved towards that level of 31,000 on the downside. But overall, the long-term trend looks to be intact. He can buy at these levels and then expect the stock to move back towards that 39,000-40,000 levels. But he has to keep the time horizon of at least a year or more, because we can expect some consolidation before the up move starts. The stock looks good on the chart to me.
Stocks look good on the chart is what Ashish is saying for Honeywell Automation. But Shaina, coming to you, this one is a query on Tarson's product. Now, this query is coming in from Sagar. They're, looking at the margins and profitability seem to be pretty good for this one. Now, is it a good time to enter this stock for a long-term view, or should they be waiting for a correction and buy at corrections?
I'm sorry, I didn't get the stock name.
Tarson's product.
I don't track it.
Okay, Ashish, do you have a view on this Tarson's product?
Yes, if you look at Tarson's product, it has an important support at 600 from where it moved up and the resistance at 740. Very decisive and very clear picture we have on the chart. And it looks good because on the basis of relative outperformance, where the entire broader market is collapsing, it's not easy to find a stock which is bucking the trend and managing to maintain its lows. So I think it's good to be invested in this stock at these levels. Possibly over short term, we can expect it to go towards the level of 740, and from the medium to long term, the stock can cross back about 820 levels. And on the downside, the support for the stock or the stop loss you can maintain at 640.
All right. This next one that I have is coming in from Vivek, and he owns Hindalco, about 100 shares, purchased at 519 rupees per share. He's saying he can hold on to for the next 1 to 2 years. So what should his strategy be for this one, Shahina? He wants to know whether he should look to add some more or should he sell?
Well, I think the sector is going through a very down phase. At the same time, Hindalco is one of the strongest stocks. Aluminium should continue doing well. I think he should continue to hold. Maybe if he holds it for the longer term, he can hold it with targets of 365 to 400. Please keep a stop loss close to about 300.
Ashish, next query is coming in for you. We have Jay Krishna from Kerala who's asking about Fine Organics. Now, they're currently holding Fine Organics at around 5,063 is what they're saying. For a mid-term view, what should they be doing? Hold the stock, exit or average?
See, the buying price is not too steep there, so that's a good sign. The stock has shown some kind of correction, but overall, the uptrend remains intact. I think the stock is just challenging its 20 days average right now. But over short term, there can be some dip towards that 4,400, but he should not worry. I think he should be able to get back these levels of 5,600 or higher. So hold on to the stock, maintain a stop loss of 4,200 on the downside or the targets of 5,600.
All right, this next query that I have is from Anita. She's writing to us from Karnataka, and she wants to know whether it's right time to buy Motherson Sumi shares. What's your take on this one? Ashish, how does Motherson Sumi look to you on the charts, and do you think it makes sense to make an investment in this counter right now?
See, we can clearly see a very strong downtrend in Motherson Sumi. It's better not to be investing into something like this, and the stock has not shown any kind of strong recovery as well. From the overall automotive ancillary space, we can see the pressures has been building up given the interest rates has been rising, though auto stocks are not doing that well. But having said that, I think if you want to park money into the auto space, then Maruti looks very attractive. Tata Motors looks good at these levels. I would prefer those names from the auto rather than buying an auto ancillary at the current level.
Shaina, we have the next query coming in on Jindal Steel for a long-term view. Now, Mehroof wants to know, will it go below these levels? What is your view on Jindal Steel? Is it a good time to buy this one?
Well, if you want to buy it, it's better to buy it at lower levels. I think shorter term with the rest of the marketers, stock can correct further. Better to buy it close to about, say, 290 levels. And then you can hold it for a target of about 350.
Okay, this one is coming from Ashish, and he's from Pune, and he wants to know about Yes Bank. He wants to know whether he should continue to hold on to this counter or sell. The problem is that Ashish has not mentioned his buy price and the quantity of the counter and the time frame that he's looking at. So since it's a tricky one, so Shaina, I'll come to you. Yes Bank, if someone has already bought into this counter, do you think it makes sense to hold on to it?
Holding, while the shorter term chart is definitely bearish. I think lots is happening on the M&A front, potential M&A front in Yes Bank, and even the overall credit growth is expected to be better in the current year. It's got strong promoters, so I would continue to hold it with a stop loss of 11 rupees with a target of 14.
Okay. Ashish, coming to you, what's your view coming in on Electra Electric? This query is from Kalyan Singh.
Okay, so Electra Electric, I'm not sure if I have that chart because I think Electra Green Tech is what I can see it on the chart right now.
Okay, I think if you could just, yeah, I think that's what the stock they mean. So could you give us your view on that one?
Sure. So see, Electra Green Tech, if you look at it, the support is at 526 levels. As long as 526 is intact, we can expect it to bounce back toward that 650, which is just about that 20 days average. And it has a multiple support at 520. So I hold on to this stock for now. There is a possibility we can see some kind of a bounce back. There is a doji candle formation that suggests some pause in the downtrend, and we should start seeing some kind of a recovery over here.
This is from Chandrasekhar. He's writing to us from Bangalore. He's saying that he has BHEL stock, which he's purchased at the price of 55 rupees per share, and he's holding for 2 years as of now. But he wants to know whether he should continue to hold on to it going ahead, or should he look to book out of this particular counter. Shahina, how does BHEL look to you, and what's your recommendation for Chandrasekhar on this one?
Well, so, fundamentally things are looking up for BHEL. If you look at the numbers per se, they've moved into profits from losses in the earlier years. Last quarter was pretty good for them. But if you see the charts with the rest of the market, the charts are extremely bearish. So I think it's better to keep a nice strict stop loss, keep a stop loss of 40, and you can hold it with a target of, closer to 50. But the charts look pretty negative, but fundamentals are positive.
Shaina, coming to you, we have one more query coming in from Indumati, and now this is on edible oil prices. Now they've surely fallen in the last week and last couple of weeks that we've seen. Now Gujarat Ambuja Exports is the stock they're talking about. Will this affect the stock furthermore in the long term? They're holding at Gujarat Ambuja at an average price of 280 rupees per share. So what's your view coming in on Gujarat Ambuja?
Actually, I've not tracked this stock closely, but yes, you're right. Oil prices definitely have come down. I think if one is looking in this space, I would prefer the Wilmar stock.
Right. Shaina, this one is from you. This one is from Vinod. He's writing to us from Tamil Nadu, and he wants to know whether he should look to enter Karnataka Bank and City Union Bank. If yes, what is the right price that he can look to enter in these counters for the longer term? Do you think, Shaina, these are the best plays in the private sector banks that one can look at these junctures, or should Vinod look at other private sector names?
Well, these are the small cap private sector banks. I would prefer the large cap if one is looking for a long-term portfolio investment. Things like an ICICI Bank, HDFC Bank also at current levels. But if you're looking at the the smaller banks, private sector, yes, Karnataka Bank definitely is showing some strength. If you want, you can get in at close to about 62 levels, and you can hold it for a target of about 70. So yes, one can enter, but I think if you're looking for better returns for the long-term, safer returns in this uncertain market, then you can go in for the bigger banks.
And Ashish, coming to you, this query is on Sona, BLW as well as Sincera Engineering, keeping the EV theme in mind. They want to know, the viewer wants to know, what should they be looking at, which stock, how are the charts looking like for this one?
If you look at the overall stocks in the space, the mid cap and the small cap space, there has been a very deep cut that we can make out. And it's better to be avoiding this stock as of now. We can clearly see it's down nearly more than 2% even today. It's better to be out from something like this and not to stay back, because we can start seeing deep cuts in the space going forward.
This one is coming from Vijay, and he's asking about Sequence Scientific. 1,000 shares of Sequence Scientific he's purchased at 299 rupees per share. Ashish, he wants to know whether it's a good time to square off, or should he hold on for another year?
Sequence Scientific has been in a strong bear trend. The stock has corrected from nearly 300 levels in just a year's time, now at 87, and there is just no respite over here. So it's better to be out from here. There is no point in holding on and holding on to hope and expecting it to reverse back, because we don't know when it's going to happen. So it's better to be out, save your capital to the extent, and eventually look forward for investment once the broader market stabilizes.
Okay, and now with that, let's start our rapid fire round, and surely Ashish as well as Shaina know what to do, and viewers, we will be taking the rapid fire queries. Starting with you, Ashish, what's the view coming in on Raymond for a long term at the existing price? Can one look to average?
Yes, average can be done, expecting a target of 1150 from the long term perspective.
Okay, this one's from Kiruba from Chennai. Wants a long-term view on Adani Total Gas, holding 40 shares with good profits. Can I sell or hold is what he's asking. What's your take on this one, Shaina?
I would continue holding it. I would hold it with a target of 2,300 and with a stop loss out.
Shaina, the next query is coming in from Emil and holding SAIL and NALCO with a loss of around 25-30%. Should they continue to hold or sell with a 1 to 2 year view?
I would continue to hold NALCO, believe aluminum as well, and SAIL, I would book profits.
Okay, this one is coming from Sati. We've already asked on REC. So this one is coming in from Raghuram from Bhuvaneshwar. 1,000 shares on Adani Power, 175 is the buy price. Can hold on or should book profits? What's your take on this one, Ashish?
Hold on to Adani Power. We have very good levels he has entered. Targets can be 295 and stop can be 240.
Shaina, Martin is holding IDFC First Bank at rupees 36 per share, 1,000 quantity. What is your view coming in on the long term?
I would say continue holding it. You can hold it with targets of 40 with a stop loss 28.
Okay, this one is coming from Sudha. Wants an advice on Chennai Petro. Buy price around 275 rupees per share. Should hold or sell. What's your take on this one, Shahina?
I would continue holding it. I think it is one of the biggest stocks in the sector.
Okay, and with that, we're absolutely out of time for taking your queries for today. Thank you so much, Ashish, as well as Shaina, for joining in with us. And viewers, we'll be taking more queries tomorrow, so do send us your queries tomorrow. But with that, we'll slip into a very short break. Stay tuned in. We'll be back with more on the markets on the other side.
With each passing day, this market is becoming better, and with each passing day, this market is only telling you that if you've participated on every decline, you've actually made money.
ITC's credo is nation first, sab saath bade. I would like to live this philosophy in whatever business we do.
We continue to be very well diversified across product lines. The general health of the company continues to be very strong.
We are a publicly listed company. We have access to capital. We have great brands.
No, beautiful question. Yeah, I can tell you, we believe that we'll be able to reduce costs.
ET is one of my favorites in the world. I'm a fan.
This is a very insightful question that you're asking, Nikunj, and almost seems like you were listening in on the deliberation the committee was doing. And you're absolutely right.
But if this cup of coffee is costing you 25 rupees right now, after 5 years, it may cost you 100 rupees. Predicting the market or predicting the short-term move in the market, well, that's always very easy. Predicting it right and making money, it's not impossible. It could be a challenge.
See, Nikunj, you're a very seasoned market observer, and therefore you may hit the nail on the head.
I think you have always kept the focus on the retail investor, and I think it's again a very apt, very good question.
Nikunj, first of all, thank you so much. You are one person I've always enjoyed interacting throughout last 15-20 years.
You know, the problem on coming on your channel is that you already know everything. I just heard your introduction. What can anybody add to that?
Stock markets is a numbers game, and it sometimes does come across as one-dimensional. But what people don't see is that these numbers, when strung together, tell a story. There's no really black or white. It very much seems to be a work in progress of triumphs and mistakes greed and fear. And I bring you that story behind the numbers in action.
The personal...
Welcome back. You're watching Buy Now, Sell Now on ET Now, and let's get you an exclusive story, and that is Finance Minister is likely to hold a meeting on the revival of BSNL today. Finance Secretary, Telecom Secretary are likely to attend the meeting as well. But what else is on the agenda? My colleague Meghna Mithal is here with all the exclusive details. And Meghna, what are you picking up regarding this particular meeting that the Finance Minister is going to have on BSNL revival?
Yesterday, a very important meeting on the BSNL revival plan is likely to be held between the Finance Secretary and Telecom Secretary today afternoon. Now, what the sources are telling us that in this meeting, apart from the Telecom and Finance Secretary, the Finance Ministry officials will also be present, and a detailed revival plan of BSNL is expected to be discussed. Now, remember, in the Union budget, over rupees 44,000 crore was announced for capital infusion in BSNL. Now, what the sources are telling us, the Telecom Secretary is expected to lay out the full revival plan of BSNL, and accordingly the Finance Ministry is also expected to consider release of funds from this budgeted rupees 44,000 crore. Also, what the sources are telling us that asset monetization of BSNL is definitely will be discussed, and fast tracking it is on the target of both the ministries. Now, remember, approximately rupees 50,000 crore is the worth of total assets of BSNL, which includes both non-core and core. Now, the government